They say a courtroom has its own heartbeat, slow, heavy, never missing a beat, especially when the air is so thick with judgment you can almost taste it that day. You could have heard a pin drop, I swear, right up until the judge lifted his glasses, glanced at the pale stack of papers, and fixed his gaze on Ethan Parker. "You've been found guilty of fraud and embezzlement," he announced, his words cutting straight through the silence. "Yeah, that happened, and every single person in there probably thought they knew exactly how this story was going to end. But then, right as the judge reached for his pen, something wild happened out of nowhere. This tiny, almost trembling voice rang out. Don't read the sentence yet. Just 5 words, but it was like a spark in a powder keg. You know what I mean? Heads whipped around. People craned their necks. And standing at the very back, clutching her little fists at her sides, was a little black girl in a pale blue dress, hair braided neat, eyes clouded and searching blind, but somehow seeing straight through the tension. The bailiff hesitated, glancing at the judge, but a woman's voicey social worker, I think, pleaded softly, "Please, let her speak." The judge, caught off guard, nodded slowly. "Young lady, do you know where you are?" he asked, his tone gentler than before. The girl straightened her shoulders. "Yes, sir. This is a courtroom, and you're about to send this man to jail." Silence again, real silence, the kind that sits on your chest and makes it hard to breathe. "What's your name?" the judge asked. She lifted her chin, not one bit afraid, and said, "Ava, I'm 6. When he asked what she wanted to say about Ethan Parker, she answered, "He's not bad. He's my hero." And in that instant, I swear, you could feel the whole room shift. Ethan turned, pale as a ghost, eyes wide because he remembered her, just like that. 3 years back, he'd found a little girl stranded on a city curb, scared and lost, clutching a cracked cane. Traffic roaring past. Her mom nowhere in sight. She'd whispered, "Cars won't stop. Mama's not here." And he'd crouched beside her, offered his hand, guided her across, told her she'd be okay. That was Ava. Back in the present, her voice trembled but didn't break. "My mama died when I was 3. I don't have anyone now, but I remember him." The judge arched an eyebrow. "Are you saying Mr. Parker helped you?" "Yes. He saved me when no one else would." The prosecutor tried to, but in Your Honor, this child's testimony isn't relevant. But the judge cut him off. "Let her finish." The entire room watched as Ava, still so small, reached out and found Ethan's arm. "You can't send him away," she said. "He doesn't deserve it. He's a good man." For a second, it seemed like nobody in that courtroom could decide what to believe. Was this some wild, desperate play? A last-ditch effort? Or was it maybe for the first time just the truth slipping through the cracks? Even the judge looked like he was wrestling with himself. "Mr. Parker, do you know this child?" he asked. Ethan's answer was quiet, but clear. "Yes, Your Honor. I met her years ago. I didn't even know she remembered me." Ava, hand trembling, whispered, "You made me feel safe." Mama said, "Never forget the people who save you." The judge stared at her, and maybe, just maybe, you saw something shift behind those tired eyes. "This is highly unusual," he muttered, "but maybe I need to hear more before I pass judgment." And right then, something else happened, something nobody expected. Ethan, whose voice had been beaten down by months of accusations, finally spoke up. "Your Honor, I've been saying all along I was framed, but nobody listened. This little girl reminded me why I didn't give up, because someone still believes in me." The judge frowned, but you could see him thinking. "Mr. Parker, are you suggesting evidence was overlooked?" "Yes," Ethan replied, steadier now. "And Ava just proved it matters." The prosecutor leaped to his feet, spitting legal jargon, insisting the evidence was overwhelming, but Ethan didn't back down. The judge raised his hand. "Enough. Miss Ava, can you tell me again how you know Mr. Parker?" Ava nodded, explaining how he'd helped her cross the street, how he'd told her she'd be okay. "Do you believe he's a good man?" the judge asked. "Yes," Ava replied. "Mama said good people leave light behind them. I still feel his light." That line-night hit the whole room. I mean, you could see the jury shift in their seats, see the bailiff blinking away something in his eye. The judge tapped his pen, deep in thought, then admitted, This case has bothered me from the start. The timeline never quite fit, but we had a money trail, so we moved forward. Maybe we missed something. Then, out of nowhere, Ethan's defense lawyer stood up almost shaking, honestly. Your Honor, we'd like to request an emergency review. This child's testimony led us to new evidence. Just this morning, we got a tip. One of Mr. Parker's old business partners, Samuel Drake, transferred funds into the same accounts used to frame my client. The prosecutor scoffed. That's circumstantial. The defense shot back, or proof of conspiracy. The judge's eyes narrowed. Why wasn't this discovered before? The lawyer hesitated, then, quietly, the original investigators were pressured by politicians who wanted a quick conviction, so they cut corners. You could hear the crowd gasp honest. It sounded like the floor might give way. The judge stood, slow and steady. Mr. Parker, you've suffered for these accusations. I can't reverse time, but I can order this case reopened now. Ethan's breath caught, the room holding its collective breath. You believe me? The judge nodded, a faint smile tugging at his lips. This child reminded me that justice isn't about speed. It's about truth. The prosecutor protested, but the judge's answer was final. What's outrageous is that a 6-year-old girl had more courage than the whole system. 2 weeks later, the whole city was buzzing with the news Samuel Drake, the real culprit, had engineered the scheme to take Ethan's company. The evidence, finally unearthed, cleared Ethan's name, and he walked out of jail into the sunlight a free man. On the courthouse steps, Ava waited, a little more confident now, her hands clasped tight. Ethan knelt, voice cracking. You saved me. Ava, with the smallest, proudest smile, replied, You saved me first. And right then, with reporters yelling and flashbulbs popping, Ethan promised, from now on, nobody's ever going to hurt you again. That night, the story spread across the country, the blind little girl who stopped a courtroom, who reminded a judge what justice really means. Folks called her brave. She didn't care about any of that. All she knew was her hero was free, and for the first time since her mom died, she wasn't alone. So, let me ask you, after hearing all this, what would you have done in that judge's shoes? Would you have listened? Would you have had the courage to question the obvious? Drop your thoughts below. Share your take on justice, on right and wrong. I want to hear it, all your stories, your debates, your arguments. Because justice isn't simple, and sometimes the truth walks in on the smallest feet imaginable. If this story hit you in the heart, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and tell me where in the world are you watching from. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your heart even wider.